Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 6th episode of the Wondercast. I am your host, Soarin. Tonight we're going to go over chapter 132 of Piercing the Heavens. Listeners, beware. If you... botched that up again. If you have not read the latest chapter of Piercing the Heavens, there will be spoilers into this discussion. Please pause us now and go read the chapter. And tonight with us... is Animak.
Evening. I've got ice cream.
And a very special guest, again, is the big buff horse himself, Calm Wind.
I swear I'm actually here.
Oh, it's great. CowgirlVK.
Howdy, guys.
Dragon Eye.
Hello.
Jim Hoxworth. Good
evening, everyone.
And returning with us again is Penumbra Glow.
Hi, guys. Skittles.
Oh, this is gonna be a long episode.
Oh, God.
Okay, moving right along because we've been delayed already. Oh my. Oh, sweet Aunt Jemima, save me.
I like Aunt Jemima.
I know, best maple syrup around. Anyways, did the chapter go as you guys expected, and were your predictions
I
from...
was right! Sorry.
It's fine.
Just, I was right! Did any of your predictions come true? And I don't know if...
I did. I thought everything was gonna happen the way it did.
You wrote it!
I was actually... That's not fair, Con. That's not fair.
Oh. Okay, for any of us that... When was the last chapter episode? Episode 4? I can't even remember what I said.
Yeah.
What was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Neither did I, but one thing as going into the chapter for me was, alright, do I want Calm carrying silver, or do I want Mateo carrying silver? And I was judging their body size, the width of the back, by judging, bodies of the animals. So it's like, I was very pleased with the fact that it was Calm chosen, although that is, you know how hard it is to separate the OC from the person some days?
Yes.
There's a reason why I might... Calm, shut up.
That's not me.
That's Jim. That's Jim. That is Jim.
Cowgirl likes some biceps. Oh.
Shut up, Pen.
No, thank you.
Pretty much what happened to Fleetfoot and Surprise is just where everywhere Calm goes.
Yes.
I think seems to be handling the situation a bit better than I would have anticipated. I just kind of figured her catatonic.
Well, I mean, we don't know that. She's still kind of in shock. So I figure once things die down and once she's like in a room alone with herself, that's when the hard part begins. We'll get to this. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay. So I figured none of us...
Like OC comforting Fleetfoot. Calm, right? Your OC comforting Fleetfoot. Yes.
Hey. Calm.
I think he's busy.
Oh, God.
You said something about Gold Squad in the document. Could you please read it for us?
Yeah, that was in the PM that he sent me.
Oh yeah, Hurricane and Jetstream, the other two members of Gold Squad.
Yeah.
I'm not reading what you wrote in there. I'm not even looking at it.
It's the PM that you sent me in response to episode 4. So
Hurricane and Jetstream. Hurricane and Jetstream are the other two members of Gold Squad. Hurricane happens to be the father of Hurricane. 1 second. I'm gonna look at what it says exactly.
Son of Hurricane Drive.
He's the son of Hurricane Drive. That's what I meant to say. He is the son of Hurricane Drive. And Rapid Fire back in chapter 113 mentioned that Hurricane was falling, basically fell off the map along with Jetstream. Unlike his father, Hurricane Drive, who was basically the well-known Wonderbolt / captain of that generation. and he saw that he was going the same way as Hurricane and Jetstream, and that's why Rapid Fire, hated everything. Hurricane and Jetstream didn't like that Blizztail and Flashwind pretty much kept all the prestige, and they were more or less forgotten. And when Blizztail and Flashwind went to the two of them to try and get them to join the Renegades, Hurricane slammed the door on Blizztail's face, and Jetstream threatened to kill Flashwind if she followed her, and then disappeared.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, wait, that's different from what you said here.
Yep. Do we get to see Jetstream again?
Jetstream. I also said that Jetstream was last seen as a mercenary.
Yeah. So he hasn't been seen since.
That's what you have written there. Yes, I left that part out just now. She was last seen somewhere by some pony doing mercenary work. But the last time that Flashwind saw her was when she threatened to kill her. So yes.
Oh.
Much more.
And you know me. I don't bring up names without a reason. So chances are,
Jetstream is king Nost.
Charles Dickens strikes
one
again.
Of my theories.
He's a troll. Big troll.
What, Jetstream or one of the older Wonder Balls is Ost? Or
No.
Kane
Ost.
Kane Ost.
Ostracized. Kane Ost.
I'm gonna forget about it within a week again.
Shouldn't we be moving on to the...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Alright.
Alright.
Chapter 132. Guardians of the Night. It began with Spitfire calling everybody together so they could see Silver off. Bum.
Jeez. So what were you guys? So I thought that.
I think that was the best part of the chapter. Really, it's very touching.
Yeah, I thought they would have had more difficulty with loading him on Calm's back. I mean, they did, but I expected a bit more.
Especially with that wing. How in the world
Yeah.
did they close Silver's wing to get him up there?
they didn't.
How
it's-
are you flying, Calm?
He just has
They
a wing.
put him on my back.
Calm has big buff horse wings.
Simple answer.
Yeah, you still have jet lag.
He think of it this way: he was laying on my back, on Calm's back. He was laying on Calm's back, facing
That's so
forward,
confusing.
the same way Calm was. So therefore, don't worry about it.
Unnecessary detail.
Calm yourself.
Dramatic effect.
The calm puns in this podcast are gonna be great.
I'm sorry to everyone
No joke.
listening. I'm very sorry.
We were talking about how Calm said don't worry about it, so I'm gonna do the same.
Don't worry about it. Tell me to calm down.
Anybody else have anything to say about that? Oh god.
Well, I am surprised that the Wonderbolts are as good of shape as they are, considering what they've been through.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised that we have mostly walking wounded rather than
They're not don't have
Misty
any
and Fire
broken
especially,
limbs.
and then Fleet.
They're
How is
definitely
Fleet
not in
moving?
condition to fight anymore. That's more or less what I was going for.
Well, everyone who had directly fought, everyone who had directly seriously fought Nightshade had to go home, both Animak and Silver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Animak got his ass absolutely handed to him by Nightshade for saying continuously that he didn't want to touch her balls.
Don't let them touch your balls.
It's funny. It's funny because I have a friend who's also reading this, and he was reading when he was reading that, he thought that you were gonna do the same thing in Gurren Lagann and have Animak die in Silver's place, and I'm just like, no, I can't do that again. Even though Kamnir comes back in spiral form,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
but I'm like,
I
no,
haven't
he
seen
won't
that
do
yet,
that.
but I know the guy dies. So I guess.
Oh my god,
I'll
Animak,
be
what are you
stone-faced
doing?
when I'm
Greatest show ever. Okay.
The thing I was really trying to go for with that was that they were beat up. They were very beat up, but then they were mostly being held down and tortured by that magic. And yeah, the magic wasn't like, beating the shit out of them. It was just sort of causing them pain. So at the moment right now, they are able to get up and move. They're, feeling very tender, very sore, and it's probably not going to feel very good in the morning. In fact, they might be down for a few days, but they're basically well enough to move and barely fly. And, I touched on that a bunch. They didn't necessarily land too well or fly without difficulty.
Nightshade giggling over there.
Sorry, I remember Dash's bite mark and I really liked it.
Okay.
You're weird. Weird.
Okay, so if oh lordy.
Really weird.
Thank you.
So if no one has anything to comment about Silver being sent off, well wait, no, pretty much.
Oh. Can I just say something about that scene?
Sure.
Yeah, what I really wanted to do there was, Spitfire ordered Squad Zero, take Silver away, but I wanted to highlight once again how much Silver means to all the Wonderbolts. So I had them, despite how they all felt, because Squad Zero had not taken nearly as much of a beating as the rest of them had. And so the fact that they were all willing to get up and push their way over there because they all wanted to make sure Silver saw each of them on his way out, it was sort of, I really just wanted to show, the amount of respect that they have for him.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a great way to do it.
That was. And then how Silver brought himself up to remind Dash of her duty.
Yeah.
That, one of the most awesome parts of that chapter.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
Foot's behavior, Dash's comfort.
This part was this was the part of the chapter that got me. I want to say that this is probably the best part of the chapter for me. It's just the whole, the fields. I was just like, I wanted to give Fleetfoot a hug.
Yeah.
Me too. Although and this is one area that I really relate to Fleet on, being a very small individual myself and having been put in positions of leadership. I know one of my big fears is I'm not big enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not fast enough. It's a big driving force. And to be where she is and then have that lingering doubt in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
And then the way it came out.
Yeah, she doesn't want her friends to see her as weak, and that it really hits home for me too, because
yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say that I mean, I have disabilities, but I try not to publicly talk about it or anything like that, so I try to play it tough and stuff. And I'll back in school, I used to attempt to play basketball and stuff, but I hated admitting I'm not strong enough, I'm not fast enough. I really, really hated that, and even then, I would never really talk about it with my friends. It was kind of really difficult to talk with my friends IRL about it, so.
Helped me was the day I fainted. The lady, she's basically my silver lining. She was there with me from the moment I fainted to the point where my mom finally got to hospital. But I'll never forget her. Really, she cared, and that was the first time I had ever let anybody outside of family know everything I went through. And it was very relieving. Up until that point, yeah, I played it tough. I was really tough. Shoot, I sprained a stomach muscle. How do you sprain a stomach muscle?
That's what I'm wondering. But yeah, that part.
The fun way?
What fun way is there? Okay, right, never mind.
NC-17.
That took me a couple seconds. I was like, wait a minute.
Okay, then moving
All right.
on.
Anyway,
Yeah.
short story sweet. That hit home for.
Then Spitfire and Soarin, Spitfire. What's going on? What's going on? Dash stepping in, and then Soarin came over and said, after he promised, I would have slapped Soarin.
I would have figured he was just really impatient.
Not been that good lately.
Well, I figured that
it politely.
Yeah. Oh wow. Oh god. I can only imagine what's gonna happen when he has to confront Little Star again. Oh god.
Oh man, that is going to be the most interesting scene.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine Little Star giving him a lot of attitude. And in my head, it's made more hilarious.
Well, I have a feeling that Dash.
I give Little Star.
Yeah, don't forget that he left Little Star as a shaking ball of fear.
Yeah, no, I have a feeling that Dash is going to unleash the mare rage. And
don't awake a mother bear. Don't.
Yeah.
Or don't poke it with a stick, but I would do that.
No surprise.
Soarin has awoken a mother bear.
In who?
In Dash, because I mean, like, it wouldn't be like maybe a motherly kind of way, but like, this is my friend, you did this, what's wrong with you?
This is my squad. No one fucks with my squad.
Yeah.
Language.
Even
language.
even if you're my cult friend, like what's wrong with you? And
yes, Captain Rogers.
Yeah.
Captain Lily. Or Captain Feathers.
I like Captain Rogers better.
Captain Lily Rogers.
Feathers.
Captain
Lily
Feathers. Can it be
Come
Captain
on.
Lily Feather Rogers?
Feathers too.
Alright.
You know how many people call me mom?
Oh god.
I have no idea what's going on.
All right.
This is how I feel most of the other podcasts.
All right.
I am running on 5 hours of sleep, guys.
Okay. All
I
right.
actually wonder, hey, calm.
I'm just really happy that Fleetfoot got some more development in this chapter because she's definitely one of my favorite Wonderverse characters.
Oh yeah.
It mainly in part because of how little of her true backstory is really known and what happened. I've said this in one of the other podcasts, but she had not the worst past, but we don't know the full extent of it yet.
Her biggest problem is that she has a lot of stuff going for her, but she cares about other things more.
Mm.
And those things are not going well for her at all. So it's sort of a conflict of interest for her.
Yeah.
God. Oh, I want to hug
It'll be
Fleetfoot so bad.
interesting if when hold on, Spitfire and Soarin or Dash actually sit down with her privately and we need to talk this out.
Dash.
It's gonna be Dash.
No, I'm serious. It's gonna be Dash because she's not gonna feel comfortable confronting Soarin with it. She's not gonna feel comfortable Spitfire with it. Who's the only other person that she might do? It's Dash. Dash saw it happen. So there's not going to be any denying it with Dash. There's no hiding from it with Dash.
And if
but Dash can help her through it.
Depending on how the next few days are going to be, Dash is going to confront her and go, no, we need to talk about this. This is affecting your leadership.
I'm not sure that Dash would confront. I'm less certain on that. I think
one thing we need to
I think Fleetfoot will be off in the corner somewhere, by the oil drum, and Dash is gonna pull a silver again, walk by, and is like, hey, Want to talk? And then
we're gonna get like a Fleetfoot kind of backstory part of the chapter.
That'll be fun because so far we've not had her backstory. Unless it was back in book 1, and my brain is gone kaput, so...
I'm the one who took prescription medication here, Calco. You're not allowed to do that.
Actually, I took a melatonin about an hour ago.
Okay, never mind. We're both in the same boat then.
Another bit that we are presently overlooking is that not only does Rainbow know, but Nightshade also knows. And like she could spread that
I don't
around.
see Nightshade sitting down and being a psychiatrist, considering that this is going to be in the middle of frickin' enemy territory.
Good idea to draw.
And
that'd be terrifying.
What I meant was like she could clue the shadow bolts in onto her, as so to make, as so to give them an edge against her.
Once again, I also highly doubt this, because keep in mind, Nightshade's gone through a bit of an ordeal of her own.
Oh yeah.
She's not exactly going to be eager to talk about anything.
Yeah, but it's still a
Next time
risk.
she shows up, ooh wee. Batten down the hatches because the world's about to blow up.
She's going to stab somebody.
I want to hug her. I would take that stab. I would hug her.
I'm pretty sure she's gonna want to stab at least. Like if she tries to find Silver again, she might finish the job.
She's going to stab somebody, maybe in the fun way.
Oh,
I don't like that kind of fun way.
Move on.
I'm interested.
No,
Move on.
no.
Safe word.
Banana. Banana's my safe word. Make stop. All right. Moving. If no one has anything to talk about, the Fleetfoot.
Well, there was also the symbolism, like attached to Fleetfoot's goggles. That kind of was read that way.
Oh yeah, that part. Like you still have here's that. Like the goggles symbolize your duty as a Wonderbolt. You know, you
still have a duty.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that Fleetfoot's hurting, but she still is pushing herself. But
yeah,
I honestly agreed with Spitfire. Fleet should have gone back to the compound. I'm really, really afraid of that journey back. Her wings giving out or something.
Or what if she starts having like Nightshade Vietnam flashback kind of thing going on.
Post-traumatic stress.
Yeah.
There's no way that any of the Wonderbolts that have been involved with this there's no way that they're not going to walk out of this with at least some form of PTSD.
Yeah. I can see Misty, and when they get back, Misty and Fire are going to be snuggling. Surprise is probably going to tackle Lightning and say, "Snuggle me," and no, you're not scoring. And
I have a feeling Firestick would be washing his mouth out with bleach.
Oh yeah, no, he's gonna be scrubbing himself like I'm never gonna be clean again.
That's one hell of a long cold shower.
Oh.
Oh my.
Oh.
Jim, stop it with the George.
What did I start?
Okay.
Stop it with the George Takei, please.
Okay, so.
George Takei is amazing.
Yeah,
well, what about Rainbow's needed ritual? Like, what about her potential needed "I'm not clean" ritual, because of what Nightshade did to me?
I assume that's gonna be. I assume that she's gonna think of her
experience, the worst day of her life. She can face anything now.
No one
she has gained.
Yeah, I assume that the bite mark. I assume the bite mark might bother her in the slightly in the long run, kind of like a scar that reminds her. But I kind of agree with you, Cowgirl.
She's now experienced the worst day of her life.
Well, so far, Tom can always step it up a bit.
Here's the thing.
Hang on, Jim's talking.
She's still going.
Yeah.
We'll cover this more later, but I don't think that she's gonna break down. I don't
Yeah.
see that happen.
She's Silver's student. I highly doubt it. She would.
She's basically become the next Silver Lining.
Oh.
Yeah.
We'll get into that more later, but
yeah.
Let's.
All right.
Yeah.
So if no one has anything else to say about the.
Oh no, not this part of the chapter, not this part.
Okay,
of the
so
chapter.
Yes.
So Twister's back, and I loved all those
Cowgirl, calm your
references.
Cowgirl, stop dying.
Oh, Shadow Wolf,
hey,
we're
Shadow.
still talking about the podcast. Shoo. I had to tell her to leave.
Doesn't even say anything. It's just Shadow Wolf will join the call. Shoo. Shadow Wolf left the call.
Okay. I love the references. I really wish that maybe Fox and Wolf or somebody would have drawn Twister in all those outfits. That would have been great to see.
Let's discuss them real quick.
I noticed from like Pokemon, the Doors animation.
There was the Zelda one.
Really, like,
He did
Yeah.
Mario, Zelda, Metroid, and Pokemon.
Yeah.
He did.
Let's go.
Oh,
I would have.
God, Twister as Samus. I need that. I need that.
Hit you with a screw attack, huh?
You guys
oh
really
my!
I would have expected like maybe him like going to Rainbow Dash and going, "Hey, listen." Oh God, that'd be
And then I
great.
And then I had him do the Temmie face.
Oh God.
Undertale.
Yeah. Oh God. Wait, is the Hoi just the Temmie
Hoi!
face? Oh no.
I'll admit, Twister's
And then I had Rainbow Dash grab his face and smack it back onto his head.
Hoi, I'm Temmie. Welcome to the Temmie shop.
His first bit was like it kind of tickled me. Baltimore for a convention. I got Ashley Paul's autograph.
And he says it's Rainbow Dash.
Oh, sweet Lord. That part got me. But, like, after all the feels, and then it's just back to this, and I'm like, God, this story is such a roller coaster. What do I do?
Yeah.
Brevity, you are a harsh mistress.
I've tried to read through that part of the story 5 times now, and every time my head starts spinning.
You want to know who hates Twister the most? There is
Who?
one who hates Twister more than anyone else.
Witching hour.
No.
There's someone more?
What?
Kestrel.
Kestrel.
Kestrel absolutely despises Twister because I purposely break so many rules of writing and grammar with him. And as my editor, he's supposed to point these things out, but oh my God, does he hate them.
Does he just ignore them, or does he just go like, "Did you do this on purpose?" Or
Every once in a while, when Twister does something in the chapter in the Google Doc, comments like, "Just kill me now."
Oh,
I
poor Kestrel.
pass on this one. Twister is annoying.
I wonder
Hey.
why.
You know, that is literally the point of Twister. The whole point of Twister is for him to be completely out of place, to not feel like he belongs, but in the end, he really is doing everything for a reason, and I'm not going to tell any of you why.
Don't pull a Deus Ex Twister on us. Don't do it.
Do it!
Now you just feel Jim. He's going into Google Doc and he's typing this down. He's connecting the dots.
Honestly, the whole thing with Twister is literally supposed to annoy people. That is literally what I'm doing with him. And whenever, yes, there it is. But whenever someone complains about him in the comments, I go, yep, that's exactly what I want.
Twister's one of those characters that, I just go, not again. Not again.
I
Just
want to
breathe through it. Let's skim this part. Okay, we're back to
Jim,
the story
you
again.
You gotta be careful with that because Shadow Wolf hasn't read that far in the story.
Oh, it's fine. There's not that much spoilerness you can see from that.
Yeah, you just see
He's
his
wearing the
face.
Shadow Wolf uniform, but aside from that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
find Twister to be a nice breath of fresh air, like with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yes. With this chapter, I was enjoying the feels with Dashy and
Then Twister just
and
Drop them up in the sky on you.
then Twister just swipes it all off the table and goes, "What's up?"
yes.
Oh, I'm gonna have fun with this chapter.
Oh, God.
Oh boy.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Oh
Oh,
god.
I can't wait to
So
hear
many
that.
voices too.
You gotta try to do your best, Link Haya. I can't do it.
I
I really want to go play Ocarina of Time now.
Normally, because everyone else in my house is sleeping right now.
Be right back. I need to let my dogs out for a bit.
Alrighty.
All right. Yep.
Oh God.
Yep.
Spitfires.
Twister is Twister is one of those characters I don't know if I love him or I hate him. I love to hate him and I hate to love him.
I adore him.
I love
I
him.
was kind of wary of him at first, but now, absolutely adore him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
It's funny because my friend I mentioned earlier, he thought that PTH, he's a big comic book guy, so he explained like what he thought PTH would be. He thought PTH would be like DC, and I argued with him, no, it's gonna be like the Marvel movies. It's gonna be like moments with gravitas that are dark, but it's always light.
Yeah.
And that's what I described, and he thought, well, oh, okay, I'll read it then.
And by the way, there's something that I do with Twister that if you guys ever write crazy characters like this, what really helps them fit into the story is to not have the characters constantly either react to him and or question why he's doing things. You notice half of the reactions to him in this chapter were Dash either just pushing him out of the way, or Mateo putting his face at the ground. The only one that ever reacted to him was Squall, and it backfired on him big time.
Or Squall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poor Squall.
Alright, so...
So it's like,
I feel like
Is that a challenge?
let him just be a part of it, and everyone else just be like, whatever.
I just like that. I just like that Foxtrot Squad's just grown so dull to Twister that they're just like, yeah, he just kind of does his own thing. We don't care.
Yeah, the rest of them like
As long as
Spitfire.
we kill someone, we're fine.
I have to admit, I am not as crazy as you are, Colin. Although, with as tired as I am right now, I could probably write.
Tom's crazier than us all. Even Jim, because...
Alright.
Is that a challenge?
No, seriously. Tom's the one who created Twister, and that involves being like one of the most crazy, so...
Oh god.
Yeah, that is true.
Twister is what happens when my brain has no restraints on it.
He goes full,
Oh, that's a
There is a
lovely
rhyme and a
image.
reason. Every time.
I like tacos. Why is the sky blue? Oh, cheese has holes in it.
I heard tacos.
I play chicken with a train.
All this mention of food is kind of getting me hungry.
Good for you.
I have...
train with
It's actually something my crazy uncle wrote on
I wanna
our
beat
old
people
paddle.
with chicken.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna beat people with chicken. That's what I want to do.
Oh, God.
Come on.
Okay,
I want to eat chickens with a person.
Yeah. What?
Spitfire's explanation
just
of her new
eating-
demeanor descent to
alright.
that.
okay.
English,
Alright, hang on. Hang on, let me...
Moving on.
Yeah,
I'm back.
moving on. Alright, okay, you just got back. You didn't miss much. Spitfire's explanation of her new demeanor and the decision to keep soaring around. What were your guys' thoughts, and how did you think this would go?
Confused at first,
Kinda,
but then I
finally.
understood.
I was
Alright,
surprised.
someone... Okay, Jim, you got a lot to say. What it out, man?
Oh.
Use your words. You're a big boy.
I don't know.
Well,
Are you
from the leader's point of view, yeah, Spitfire was overwhelmed. She was really overwhelmed, and she was forgetting that old rule of communication.
What we have
always
here
feel
is
better
here to communicate.
Once you get things off your chest. I really like what Fleetwind did.
Flashwind.
Flashwind. Fleetwind. Wow, the ship is strong in this one.
Yeah,
Oh.
Cole, you can never escape it. I suggest. Well, you probably did give up now.
Flashwind taking Spitfire side. I like the way it, and then sat her down and said, "All right, what's going on?" That is good leadership right there, because Flashwind is not the captain anymore. Spitfire is, and Spitfire needs to be the one taking responsibility and making the decisions. But she also needs a sounding board. I oftentimes use a mirror, or you guys. We all do.
Yeah.
I'm aboard.
I punched my
Lumber
wall.
goes below deck.
Whoa there!
Okay.
Ah.
A lot of George Takei in this one. I don't know why.
He's amazing.
I think I just might
Not
title
saying
this.
he's
I
not,
think I just
just-
might title this the Wondercast Episode 6 George Takei Edition.
Yes, do it.
Why we should not start at 11 o'clock at night.
Hey,
Uh,
it's not that bad.
Okay, not that late.
yeah, no, it's not that bad. I've been in worse.
Okay. But
For example,
and then
the Trolls
keeping
podcast.
Soren around.
I
Soren is
haven't been there.
professional.
I don't think I'll survive.
Soren knows the way Spitfire thinks more than any pony else in the Wonderbolts. That, in and of itself, is a reason to keep him around, even if they have to protect him over time in case of an emergency.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, my brain.
So,
Shut up.
once Spitfire did that, it's like, now she's getting smart.
Mhm.
Although I can see where Soren's. All right, you keep telling me to step back, step back, step back. Now you
Yeah.
want me.
Yeah,
Captain, what are you thinking?
yeah, that whole like 180
It's
thing. I
the
could
damn
see.
mind.
I can see how it like might get annoying. Like 1 minute you're telling me to, stay back, and then now all of a sudden you want me to come with, and not really getting,
What in the world? Yeah.
yeah. But I assume that he's still going to get a talking to
Oh yeah.
when he gets
gonna
back
get it.
to, back
Yeah,
to the
Calm?
base. Huh? What?
Calm, is he gonna get a talking to? Do we get to see that?
No, we don't know. He's not going to divulge
Oh.
anything.
He,
I'm not gonna tell us.
This ain't
No.
over till the fat cat sings.
What?
It's over until the buff force flexes.
Oh god, then the world will end.
Now I just imagine like every time he flexes, words just like pop up on his computer screen. That's his writing process.
I-
That is not right. I mean, I just bounce my bicep up and down, and the words go on screen.
Oh.
Oh,
Mental image. Oh man.
It's gonna be fair to them soon. You realize that, like, once this gets released, even like maybe even before, there's gonna be fair out of that. You realize.
this just in, we just got knocked over by Cowgirl's wings.
Pomf.
Boner!
Guys, stop.
Ah,
Boing.
I knew this chapter would be long. I knew this podcast would be a long one. Okay.
You love us.
PL's introduction. Now, that picture.
Whoa, you're jumping way ahead there.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
go.
Whoa.
Okay. And then the flight there, Soren actually got to be a Prince Charming and guarding over all the other Wonderbolts who were down hurt. And his valiant talk with
What the
don't
hell?
ask. I'm in rare form.
Hey, you looked at that. Started
This is gonna be immortalized on the internet. I just want to make sure you're aware of this.
Cowgirl, what was that?
This is all being uploaded to my channel. Oh
Prince
God, why?
Charming and da 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 da. Oh my god, mushy.
Well, I mean, Soarin does have a heart of a lion, so I mean that part.
Oh, yes. And he was so romantic.
And
in
Jim's
What?
dying,
What?
and now
Kill me
Nightshade
now.
is dying.
Cal, I suggest you stop. I think you're slowly killing 10.
Oh, love and affection. Oh god.
Okay,
kill me
okay,
now.
all right, okay. Well, I
By the
mean,
way, I was just mimicking my cat's vomiting, so
all right. That's a great mental image. Now, I'm gonna
That's a great
drink
transition.
some water to wash that down. Before I
Okay.
vomit in my mouth.
So
Oh,
there
my God.
there is something pretty significant here.
Okay. Thank God for no vomit. Okay.
Before they meet up with PL, there's basically this long section where Foxtrot plus Storm is discussing the events of the previous 3 chapters.
Blast, I completely forgot about that part.
That's before
I
they even
forgot.
take off.
Oh, I forgot to add that.
Yeah,
Whoops.
and that's kind
Well, it's in now. It's in now.
that's
so.
kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Because Storm mentions that he talked to Descent about Nightshade,
And
and Descent's description of Nightshade didn't match up with Dash's description of Nightshade, and he didn't
At
know
all.
which one to believe.
And then she saw both. Then he saw both.
I'm pretty sure he only saw Dash's description. I mean,
No.
No,
saw-
like,
Briefly saw when Descent showed up, he saw the other Nightshade.
oh yeah. God, I'm
Mhm.
brain.
What? Where? Con, did you actually put that discussion where Storm was talking to his father? Or
No,
was that?
that was off of screen.
Ah, yes.
And that was meant to be off screen so that it wouldn't be brought up until right now, because Stormfront, being the son of Descent, was carrying Nightshade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One definition for Nightshade from Dash's view.
And and we didn't know about how Descent. Well, we had heard that Descent, was wondering about what happened to Nightshade. We never quite heard him speak in the way that Storm described,
Mhm.
and that is why I had when Descent showed up, he acted in the way he did, trying to approach Nightshade. It didn't seem like Descent at all.
Yeah.
So this was all supposed to be sort of a revelation thing, how Descent literally was basically desperately trying to get to her, and then Storm reveals that Descent had spoken to him about Nightshade in a way that sounded very caring.
Yeah. But we knew that he did care about her deeply.
But I never really went that deep into it though.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hold on, I'm gonna just step away real quick. It's getting really hot in my room.
Sorry about
Be right
that.
back.
Calm, I'm going to slap you.
We need to give Calm the pixel sunglasses.
Oh, I know exactly what I'm gonna give him when I meet him.
Oh god. Oh god.
I don't
He'll
like.
wake up to it.
I don't like the sound of this.
Pen.
This is it, guys.
That's
It's
PG-13.
You need to promise me something, Pen. No
What?
loud, rubbery smacks.
No promises.
I
Calm
don't.
run. Calm
Oh.
run. Try to best barricade yourself in your room.
I am.
Only way of survival.
Oh no. What he's gonna wake up to
there's
is gonna be
one
all
problem.
around his house.
There's one problem with that. I don't have a door that
Oh,
locks
no.
away where my bed is.
Oh no.
Oh,
It's open. It's open way all the way from the top of my apartment to my bottom. So
I.
there's nothing-
But yeah. Anyway.
Just hide or something. I don't know.
I actually just thought of something, but I'm gonna save that for the speculation portion of the chapter. But
I think I remember that's why I didn't add that part, because that part kind of seemed speculative, and that's why I didn't add the Twister part into the main thing, because that would delve into speculation. But enough about me and my bad formatting of the Google documents.
You'll get there.
Moving on, moving on to Captain PL's introduction, or the
This is where I actually got.
There was a bit of a nice
Spoiler.
build up too there. That
yeah.
more that is,
Well, the
worth
build up,
mentioning.
the build up with that.
What about the entire flight?
Did I not add that either?
Nope, you sure didn't.
During the flight. is
Oh my
when-
god!
During the flight is when Soarin speaks to Spitfire, and then also during the flight is when Soarin speaks to Rainbow Dash about everything that just happened, as well as it being the the fourth time that they encountered Nightshade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, well, I feel really
What
dumb for
said
not
that?
adding that in.
I meant to read it this afternoon after I got back from the zoo, but, I came home and it was just like, leave me alone.
Okay.
But yeah, basically, that whole part with Soarin and Rainbow Dash is the two of them trying to speculate, basically trying to figure out what they just saw, because they had never seen Nightshade act like that in all the times they'd encountered her, and it was all in the face of the scent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty much facing
Alright.
off against
Yeah, sorry.
Nightshade.
And Scott, don't say it.
Don't bring up sad Nightshade. It'll break my heart.
Oh, but so,
How can I forget? That was the most terrifying thing in my life.
Don't talk bad about Nightshade, I tell you.
She flew away crying.
we need a picture of like Philly. We need a picture of Philly Nightshade with like big eyes and hang on. There's.
Do you want to break
Wait, Philly Nightshade crying?
Yeah, that was in my last art blog.
Yeah.
Really?
Ken's done it.
Do you want to die? Because I think Ken will kill you if you put that in.
There it is. There it is.
Oh, no, never mind. Why are you guys trying to make me care about Nightshade?
Oh my
Because we
god.
can.
That's so cute.
She's another one of those
It's all
love to
Calm's
hate her and
fault.
hate to love her.
What?
She hates to
Nightshade's
love
one of
her.
those. I'm not quite sure what to think about Nightshade.
I would give her
Yeah.
a freaking hug instantly. Like, I love you.
I'm going to.
I'm not sure I'd give
my
her a
thoughts
hug.
for the speculation
Oh, I
first.
would.
But
I'd-
anyway,
Picked on Misty, I'll pick on you. I'd be Nightshade's worst enemy.
I'd probably
Touch
be
Nightshade,
like,
I will cut you.
I'd probably like at least talk to her if there was a wall,
With
a
a
glass wall
oyster.
between me and her.
That could be pretty interesting, especially with the background I have.
Oh god.
what, being cut with an oyster?
Oh.
Alright, moving on.
All right. Did I forget to add anything else?
No,
Besides
because
the
after
flight.
that, they make it to the place, and then
And everybody goes toppling onto the ground.
and then Fire and Lightning Streak bicker over who should look at the map, and then followed by Surprise getting sandwiched in between the twins. Oh my! And
Ooh, my.
Seriously.
Then like everyone looks up and then like
you're still listening to the part where Foxtrot talks about the festival.
And then they can't find bat ponies. Of course,
That's
bat
right,
ponies blend
Goofy,
in.
Gooba.
And when
Oh,
Squall decides to be a little bit of a dick and say that Mateo's description of the festival sounds a lot like the Griffins.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot to add that.
And
part.
then Mateo replies with, "I was waiting for that."
and also the
Oh, I love
Also the,
Twister. Can I
Grand
rename
Pacific
it?
Gallery joke.
I didn't name it. Can I rename it?
Who named those archives? I didn't name it.
Goofy
Can I
Goober.
rename it?
Oh god.
Oh god.
Time and place. That boy needs to learn time and place. Although,
Time is just a big bowl of wibbly wobbly.
Timey
time
wimey.
Icy stuff.
oh, ow.
Okay, so
And then the Thestrals appear.
Ooh.
yeah,
I'm not
that
the only-
Batman TAS theme. Dun,
Dun.
dun, 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 dun.
I was thinking more of the Tim Burton theme.
oh that one.
Boy, stop it. That's so flatly.
But Batman.
But yeah,
That's
no.
slightly.
PL is literally Batman.
I
Yeah.
know, he's so awesome.
I don't hear Kevin Conroy's voice coming out of Descent
Oh my
anymore.
goodness.
I hear it coming
No,
out of
you want to know the voice that I hear coming out of PL?
what is it?
Do you know who Ving Grames is?
Fing Grams. I do not. Who is it?
He is the. Did you ever seen Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah. Wait, who is
No.
he?
He's Mr. Bubbles, the big.
Oh
black
my god! Oh my
What is this? Okay.
Mr.
Another place where I'm uncultured.
Soren,
Uncultured?
did you
Non-cultured
hear
club.
the audition that I did for PL?
No.
Oh my goodness, that is so good.
I did not hear
Oh
you.
yeah, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, I based my performance directly on Ving Rhames' voice.
Oh my
Yeah,
Yeah,
god.
I showed it to Jim and I mentioned it was Mr. Bubbles and he squealed.
You gotta
It was my favorite movie growing up.
you gotta send that to me after the podcast. Done. Or
Where is-
What, the audition?
yeah, or you can send it now. I'll listen to it like later. Or wait, did you
I
do
love
record
that
it or
movies.
Oh yeah.
yeah? If you can send it.
Black with yellow eyes, white with red. There's so pretty, you're so cute. Never mind.
Okay then.
I know.
You
Nighty said
have
something
exactly
interesting
one-
about
My other OC is a bat pony.
a thestral.
I have two OCs. Lillian is a Pegasus, and Sony Dun Song is a bat pony.
I sense shipping. I mean,
Yeah.
Calm. Who in your head is Silver's voice?
that would be Gunny from Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Army early.
I
His
can hear
gun-
it. I can. Yeah. I can
Arlie Ermy.
Arlie is it or whatever his name is.
Sir Lee Ermy.
Bugs.
So.
Have you ever heard him when he's not? Yeah. Have you ever heard him when he's not yelling? That sounds pretty good too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had his own show on History Channel.
Yeah, it was him talking about guns and stuff.
Blowing things up. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm fading fast.
Yeah.
Okay, where were we? Okay, so PL.
Yeah.
Okay. So
PL gave
This is, and PL is an albino. That was the spoiler Com gave me that I couldn't tell anyone. PL is an albino and he's so cute.
I was.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you.
I was more like sexy. He gave everyone
No,
who wasn't.
No, to
He
her
gave
she was
everyone who
cute.
wasn't to. He gave most of the mares who wasn't used to him wing boners.
Humph. So
He
me and
admits he couldn't look back and she had seen him a couple times already.
so my friend, he was also reading this at the same time, and as soon as the red eye is brought up, and he was like, "Oh my God, Com did an edgy OC," and I'm like, "Just wait until he takes off the helmet." You don't know that? And he's like, "I swear to God, if it's a red-eyed black thestral, I'm gonna stop reading." And then like he said it was white, and he's like, "Okay, he gets a pass. He looks cool."
He's an albino. And actually, I have an albino in my universe too. Is Sony's big brother.
Well, the real motivation behind me making him an albino was think about it this way. He is the captain of the Lunar Guard. He is literally a pony that is damaged by light. So he is basically completely a pony of the night.
Mm-hmm.
AKA Batman.
Even to the point where he is unable to beat up. And that is why he has the altered set of armor that covers pretty much all of him. Because if he is to go out in the day, he needs to be protected by that armor.
Mm-hmm.
You also said it was also
I love-
enchanted. Does like that
It's
provide?
yes. His armor is enchanted to completely shield him from damage that light would cause him.
Oh, okay. I thought it was also enchanted in other ways. Like,
I can't wait for the next chapter to find out more about PL. He is so
all right,
cool.
all right, cowgirl.
All right,
Calm your wings. Put them down.
Is PL a contender for
Cowgirl,
Limp's
your
head?
wing is currently poking me in the eye.
Don't encroach on the Fleetwind ship on him.
You want him.
My desk is lifted. I don't know why.
Oh.
Oh
Wait,
lordy.
cowgirls does? Okay, you know what?
Is PL married or is he married to the job?
Wait, Jim has
PL's
something.
really old.
For now, I'm not going to give anything else
Jim,
about him.
Jim,
because he-
Jim has something to say.
No, not something to say, but something to post.
Okay.
No!
God.
Oh God! Get out of here.
Oh, more memes.
Why?
More memes. More memes.
This should not
Not
expand.
does, but
But
it
it
does.
It should not expand, dog, but it
But it
does.
does!
But I absolutely the whole fear thing. None of them can fight right now, and then here then Dash steps forward and takes the reins, and oh my goodness, that was so awesome.
Well, it's Rachel. What do you expect?
Yeah, she's a
She's
badass.
off.
She has
No.
become her mentor. Let's be
When
honest
she
here.
said that, I cringed and burst out laughing at the same time.
Yeah, when she
Like I was, I was right there with
Let's be
Spitfire.
real. If you were really trying
Dash!
somebody that you knew Silver Lining and the person apparently knew Silver Lining, what would you say? You wouldn't go with the you would definitely go with the blunt route.
Yeah.
That you're a dumbass, that you
That you're a
constantly
dumbass.
bite off more than you chew, and I swear he does it on purpose.
That you're batshit insane.
Literally that.
And the fact that like all the Thestrals were growling at her tail was just like, God damn it, it really is.
Just like, oh my god. It's like, it's another one.
Well, he
Oh
even said, he
God,
said, like,
Break
the way
forth.
she talked to me
Yeah,
reminds me of
I
two of them, and that irritates me.
Oh lord.
The way she speaks, the way she confronted me was brutally honest.
I'm
Just
going to
like-
beat you.
Yeah. Just like this.
That sounds awfully close to my Mateo voice, only it doesn't have the accent in it.
Really hope that we get a chance to go
They
to.
need to work on that.
And then I love that.
I already
If
sent in
you
my
don't
audition
believe me, you're
so-
more than welcome to come see for yourself. Then while you can see if it's only the truth about Luna too. I love Luna comes second.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, if you really are curious, you'll find out about her too. But the important one is Silver.
Yeah, no, it was Silver first, Goddess of the Moon second. Dash has got her priorities straight.
Yep.
Yes.
Alright, so, if we don't have anything to add on Rainbow Dash's speech, or everybody get a chance to go?
It was pretty cool. I
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I was bouncing up in my chair.
I am really gonna enjoy playing Spitfire in this chapter because her lines are golden, absolutely golden.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
can't wait till we get here in the dramatic reading.
I wish I could like send in more auditions, but I can't do voices of calmer characters, and I have to do that because most of the time I would have to record is when family's around, and I can't be dropping F-bombs every other word, like with pretty much every other character.
So
Like
so
the
you
other
can't
character that I
so
can
you
think of
can't
is
play
Fire.
insane.
Yeah, no, can't do
Spitfire?
plays.
I'm
Like,
probably
the-
gonna
the
have
only
a
other
beeper
character-
beside me, and every time we hit one of those bad words that I don't want to say, I'll go beep
Hey,
instead.
no. My
Or-
mom and I are
Like-
based. My mom and I are
Yay.
based to each other every single day, and we love it.
Like the only other character that I
Not
can
in my
think of,
household.
like, logically audition
Of
for
course
is
not.
Fire, but that's it really.
Alright.
Again, alright, conversation, and then he had to repeat his order twice to get all the rest of the bat ponies to move. How do you spell that? To pronounce that T word that they are?
Thestrals?
Again, Thestrals.
Yeah.
The word letters won't stay in a straight line for me to pronounce it.
That was the way that they didn't quite move the first time he said it, because I've mentioned more than once the Thestrals are not yes men soldiers like the Royal Guard are. They were more expecting him just to let them go loose, but when he didn't, they were just like, oh, what? And then he had to remind them who's in charge.
Yeah, like
they're
an alpha
basically
wolf,
like-
they'll bite the omegas on the nose if you don't listen to me the first time.
Yep.
And if they still don't obey, they get to fight them.
Yep.
they are basically like, oh gosh, like Delta Force or Spetsnaz or
Yeah.
They are basically.
Dude, Spetsnaz tracing is awful. I've seen some videos. They go through some
Yeah.
not fun times. But yeah, they're basically the special forces, the Spetsnaz of the Lunar Guard and whatnot.
Yeah,
Ugh.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, then again, Luna's. I would want to ask. Didn't Luna say, or Discord or somebody said that the Lunar Guard could take out the Solar Guard or whatever it's called? Somebody mentioned that. Or am I just?
Don't remember writing that.
Maybe I'm just thinking of something else. Fading out right now.
It might be.
All right, so before I fall asleep at my desk here, on to the fun part, and the part where probably Calm is just going to be going like, "No, that's not right."
Please continue.
Theory time. What was Twister possibly doing?
Twister was being Twister, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
What he was doing. Okay, I'm going to throw a curveball out there. He was back at Canterlot trying to tame down the mess that Syl has written up in Canterlot in Flames.
Just him
Twister
rebuilding
was having a
Canter.
cup of tea with Celestia.
Oh, okay.
That, in my version of the story, hasn't been brutally murdered.
What's that?
The big difference between my story and Syl's story, though, is that the damage to Canterlot was pretty much only to that area and not the entire damn thing being burned to the ground.
Wow.
So
It wasn't the entire damn thing. It was
just no.
It was a couple city blocks.
80%.
The other thing you gotta know is that in my version, most of Canterlot was evacuated before they were attacked again. In Syl's version, it wasn't. That's why there's so much death everywhere.
Oh Lord.
Plus, he then brings in railway artillery to fire on the city.
And there's that, yeah. So I'm like, yeah.
Everyone's gonna die.
Yeah, I'm not that far yet.
You know, Calm.
I just started reading The Fall of Rome.
There's a fine line between me wanting Syl to be distracted by
Shiny
this
things.
destruction that I have in my books, and him not being allowed to read my stuff, because I know that if he ever got into his head to take on the zombie wars, it'd get horrid.
Oh.
God.
No.
Okay, so we were on speculation.
Okay.
I suspect Twister was just hiding somewhere nearby, clutching onto the map.
Why would he be doing that though?
Maybe he's like a sadist. Maybe he just gets a kick out of watching his teammates get getting the crap kicked out of him. So he's just like sitting there with popcorn and just laughing.
He's like Ruin.
At this point, like the occasional sane thing would be fitting alongside his craziness. Like,
Yeah, he's more insanity than he is comprehension.
Well, here's the thing. We all know what my thoughts on what he was doing. We pretty much know my thoughts to that. Basically, it goes along the lines of this. He stopped existing.
My brain
He
hurts.
blinked out of existence.
So basically, he has to return to whatever plane of existence he returns
I
to.
don't know the exact mechanism of it. I don't know. know exactly
Did
how it works.
Nightshade's magic interfere with whatever energy source is creating Twister? Or is Twister an energy source though?
We could be here all night discussing this.
We
And
have
besides-
an
We have
entire podcast.
Twister is
talking
Twister.
about this.
Yeah.
We actually may need to make a
spend
second
any
Twister
more time
podcast.
on
Wow.
Well, yeah. We'll do that when we
If
have more
Nightshade-
info.
If Nightshade's energy would have interfered with Twister, then he wouldn't have been able to go into the compound, the Shadow Bolt compound we get.
Yeah, and this Nightshade, what is she doing back at? I have a feeling Calm's not going to let us even have a peek of what's going on back at HQ, the Shadow Ball. Although
Someone's going to die, and Rapid Fire is gonna have a sore pelvis.
Oh God!
God!
This
Hold
sure
on,
they
let me
may or
figure
may
out
not
the-
be related.
Just
Luna's
angry.
blinding spell laughed,
Yeah.
and what did it do to the compound? Because no one could see.
Yeah.
What in the world?
Just imagine Nightshade having angry, crying sex with Rapid Fire.
Okay.
Language.
Hey, what? Hey.
All right, let's all calm down, and I'm
That
just
was
gonna
so worse than
I'm
what
just gonna
happened from the-
retract that statement, but it's in your head still. So
God damn you.
Yeah. I have only one thing to say to that.
Right on the fence.
You son of a bitch.
Nightshade, you have just been assigned the challenge.
Jim, suck it.
Painful
oh, God.
reaction.
Oh,
Don't be first.
Strong!
Jim, I'm going to slap you with something big
dog
and rubbery.
expanded wrong.
Okay.
Oh. I want to say something that involves the
You
kid.
won't be the first.
I want to say
Hey,
something
hey,
that might
hey.
involve crystals and
Cowgirl, you can't stop.
expanding, but never mind.
Save it for the post podcast call.
You know, if Silver lives, I'm gonna be writing a story. If Silver dies, Sil's gonna be writing a story.
Oh,
We know this is gonna.
And no matter what happens, I'm still going to be writing too many stories.
And you're gonna be.
years later,
Oh.
PTH is still going on. Becomes the first story to hit.
Present my life.
What, like 28.
It's gonna be like the.
Oh.
It's gonna be the. Actually, is there a story that's hit 2 million
It's a book
words?
That does not end. It just goes on and on, my friend.
I wouldn't
Some
be
person
perfect.
started writing it, not knowing what it was, and
Okay.
he'll forever write it.
Cowgirl.
Forever, just
Cowgirl.
In all honesty, I would not be surprised if it took me around another year to finish this.
Oh
Mom?
God, the year.
We gotta work cut out for us, guys.
How long?
You've
I've-
already been working on this book for 2 years at the very least, probably closer to 2.5.
Believe me, I know.
Oh,
We gotta work cut out for us, guys.
Be right back. I'm gonna let the
No
dog
joke.
in.
I'm gonna be like that old guy on the pirate ship who's just like,
Do you need a hug?
No.
Cowgirl, read the chat section.
What did Calm just say?
That's what I said. Keep singing.
wow.
Keep singing, and I will scream.
I want some of what
I'm
Cowgirl
tired.
has right now, because this stuff's just making me tired. It's making her loopy. I kind of want some.
I'm gonna strangle someone if I hear one more song. Or castrate, depends which gender.
Singing in the
Alright,
rain.
what was Twister doing? Why Nightshade ran from this
Alright, okay. Okay.
I'm back.
What
Alright.
happened in... So let's...
Cowgirl,
real
start
quick,
over,
since
because a lot of stuff just happened.
Twister!
Theory time. What was Twister possibly doing? Why Nightshade ran from Descent, you didn't uppercase that D, was she possibly hiding from Descendant's story? I fixed those. What has happened this day? This was the next point I wanted to make. What has happened this day? Let's look.
So,
This day started with what? Dash.
Trying to meet up with the Lunar Guard.
well, no.
No,
We're covering everything that's happened in the day, in this, like,
Alright.
the time of the story.
Compton into the first part, and that happened this day, which was Dash got to talk to Silver, and Silver gave them the retirement speech, and then Blast it.
Okay, alright, I got it. Who has better function over there? Okay, hang on, we're both tired. We're both tired, cowgirl. I feel you.
Yeah, and yeah,
I'm
my
actually
dyslexia has
still
gone
wide
to
awake.
the moon, and I've got ponies walking around my bedroom, and it's like, would y'all go away?
I'm in my snuggie right now. I'm like warm and comfortable, and I'm trying not to fall asleep in my chair right now. So,
I am burned up.
Well, that's an improvement from earlier.
okay, okay. So let's just go over the events. Let's just take them out. Or did you want to
Okay.
discuss them, or just go over them?
Alright, let's, real quick. The flight and narrow escape of the Nimbus. The heated disagreements and exchanges. Nightshade appearing and literally leveling them all. How do you metaphorically do that? Silver sacrificing himself and just barely surviving. Spitfire showing up just in the nick of time and putting her battle prowess on display. She's the third whatchamahoosit.
Mimic.
The
Okay, the revelation.
About
All right, okay, hang on. How about I take over, VK? We'll both share the burden. Okay.
I can do it.
Well,
let's
let's let Jim do it. I'm just gonna sit back in my
All right.
snuggie.
The revelations about Nightshade, Descent, and Starry. It had been one horrible, painful, or confusing experience after another. It was such a huge relief to have something go right, even if it was in the form of another scare at first. And to top it all off, the day wasn't even over yet. She still wasn't resting easy on the subject of Silver until she got back and got a rundown on his condition from Bliss. She was not going to feel full relief. Is this directly from the chapter?
Yes.
Okay. The success here in regards to the Lunar Guard, while great, was not going to negate everything else that had happened either. Nightshade and the Shadow Bolts had really worked them over. Most of the top-tier elites would no doubt be out of commission or barely half full strength.
We're all tired.
That's a bad mouthful.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
That's poorly worded. I should have changed that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my.
As they push towards the Crystal Empire, hey, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. They had the Lunar Guard on the side now, or at least they would once they saw Luna, but that hardly replaced the top-tier elites. Dash could only hope that their new allies would be up to the task and would be the difference make that push them through to their destination. Ugh. Again, ugh.
We've hit that time at night, that time when your Single Blade just can't English anymore.
That's the wording there.
Yeah, I'm reading that, and I'm
the
half.
Difference make that push them.
I didn't type this.
It's supposed to say difference maker.
Difference maker.
Okay.
Yeah. I should change that, but I'm too lazy right now.
Bottom line, they still have a rough road ahead.
And it's only been a whole day. Like, they better, the next coming days, they better be completely exhausted. I assume they will. Oh
Yeah.
God, my brain. Gonna fall asleep here. Anyway, moving on. So,
What do we want to happen in the next chapter? Let's get them all. Although, as I stated earlier, I am half afraid Fleetfoot's wings are going to give out, and someone's going to have to catch her. And
Calm's going to have to catch her. Calm will catch her.
Calm's bad.
Calm's
not there, so we're either going to have PL do it, or another bat pony, which is going to cause problems.
yeah, she's gonna freak out and flail about like when Rarity when Rarity fell out of the sky.
She's going to completely lose it.
Hey, here's the thing. I don't think she's as physically injured as you're saying. I don't really think that. I think, yeah, she's gonna feel pretty damn sore, but I don't think.
Have you ever
physically.
had that level of exercise where every bone in your body just
Yes, I have.
and it's 10
However,
times worse.
I don't think that's what she's gone through.
More
Keep
mental.
in mind that if we're going by realistic standards, Silver shouldn't be breathing right now.
Very true.
Someone.
So here's what I think. I think most of the damage is psychological.
Definitely.
I think basically, as far as physically speaking goes, she's had all of her muscles stretched out, her joints stretched out. She's sore, but she's not.
The main battle with her is going to be psychological. So
But keep in mind, as somebody that has played lots of sports, I can tell you, it's not right after you finish when it hurts the most. It's the day
The
and
next
the day.
day.
Both
Yeah,
the next day and the day
All
after.
I could do.
And unfortunately, they do not have time to wait for everyone to recover.
Yeah, she should be fine to make it back to the combat. So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that at all.
Yeah.
just
I'm worried more about the psychological effects
if she's going to
that are
make
gonna
it through
happen
the if
over
she's
the
going to
next
make it.
few days,
Yeah.
combined with the physical consequences of the next few days. That's going to be a 1-2 punch right there. That's what we should be worried about if we're going to be worried about Fleetfoot's physical condition.
Yeah.
What drugs are you on?
I want to know if there's a dancing moon. You got what drugs are you on and why? Because I want some.
Oh, clearly it's the runner's high from Family Guy,
Oh,
where the moon is
oh.
Korean.
Well, she's on what are you on? Melatonin or something? Some muscle relaxer?
Melatonin.
Not even
Melatonin
really
yeah.
a
is
drug.
the chemical your brain puts off right after you go
You
to
want
sleep. to help your
monotone?
cells.
On monotone.
Oh,
Sounds
God.
like monotone.
That's no.
It's an herb, not a drug.
Monotone.
Okay, what
Alright.
Wait, where were we?
Focus, guys. Focus.
I need to go to bed real soon.
Focus, Rocus.
We're almost done.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, as far as the next chapter, I honestly have no clue
Let's
what
get 'em
I
back.
want
Let's get
from the
'em
next
back.
chapter.
Get them twos of compound. Let everybody crash and sleep. Or maybe that's just the fact that I've been up since 6 o'clock talking.
I assume everyone would have really horrible, like, post-traumatic stress disorder nightmares. Truly frightening.
Maybe not right away.
Yeah.
They might have the 1,000-yard stare, but I don't think they're gonna start having nightmares until maybe 3-4 days after, at the earliest.
Mm-hmm. As it sets in, what in the world just happened?
It sets in when you've had like a long rest and you have time to think about it.
To process it.
Yeah.
Alright.
When you're in the thick of it, you don't really notice it. But you've got that 1,000-yard stare, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
What we don't want to happen.
No, wait.
We don't want some.
Did we cover
we don't
what we
want them to
actually think
breathe.
will happen?
Oh.
Yeah, what we actually what we actually think will happen. What will Buff Horse do?
Yeah, I think
Drag out what PL means till as long as he can reasonably possible.
Chapter 200, we finally know.
What is his name?
All I'm going to say is that the most recent blog where I said that I'm going to be breaking up these longer chapters means you may not figure out everything you want to figure out in this chapter.
God,
200 chapters later, we finally find out.
But you're going to get the next chapter like Monday or Tuesday or Thursday or Wednesday or something like that.
That's a good thing.
Alright,
Any idea when we'll be back to slice of life plots?
When the
When we
moon
get
blows
there.
up and turns orange.
I think we're
Probably
past
when
slice of
the
life.
sequel.
When
Probably when the
PTH, when
get there.
PTH is done, honestly.
probably the sequel to
I will say when we get there.
Yeah.
probably the sequel to the Thunderjack story with responsibility.
I'm
Mhm.
going to be running a sequel to that in between parts 3 and 4 because we all want to know what Thunderlane's been doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh boy.
He's been plowing.
He's not
the map.
out there defending Canterlot from a mad.
Damn it.
Cloud apple
He's
down
been
start.
plowing fields, eh?
He's been sowing them seeds.
I love this. I love this.
He's been sowing them seeds pretty damn deep.
Oh yeah.
Guys,
Apple John's taking all that in.
guys,
Getting a good taste of that apple pie.
He's
guys,
backing up
oh
Ivy.
my. Guys, stop.
Okay.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
It's
Deal
a-
with it.
It's 11.
You're rocking the forest.
It's 11 o'clock.
I will teach you. Okay.
And ironically, Cowgirl gives us the worst innuendo of them all.
Oh
Which one
god.
was that?
Hey,
Rocking the forest.
Buff horse.
He's been busy apple jerking.
Alright, back on topic.
I'm in a Winnie the Pooh mood.
Anyway, we were
This is-
talking
I
about-
heard Winnie the Pooh. What does Winnie the Pooh have anything to do with apple sex?
I mean, maybe it's a thing in their world, and Thunderlane has a unique fetish, and
You
he's.
guys are gonna have to mark this podcast as rated mature.
Yeah,
man.
this is like.
And we
this
could
is
just
somewhat of a
edit.
demo for the R-rated podcast.
I think.
We could just edit. We can edit parts out and then re-release it as a mature content thing.
I think. We're,
Redacted, reloaded revelations.
We actually
We
think
could
we'll
do
have
the like technical difficulties thing that they do at Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
What is Silver gonna do when he sees PL? That's
Probably- probably.
About time you showed up,
Yeah.
jackass.
No, he's gonna be like that guy from Happy Gilmore, just saying, "You jackass,"
You jackass.
just like that.
I swear I can hear Silver saying, "It's about damn time, you jackass." What took you
Draw
so
that.
long?
Can I please draw that?
Yes, please.
What? I got something a bit better, like something. It's about dang time, you a clown dick jackass.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
okay. Now we're getting into it.
I think
I'm gonna grab Silver.
We already had the
Silver
control in
and
15
Chase boys
minutes.
around the table.
We already
There's
have
doing
the
it
song,
right,
like
and
by
then
5.
there's-
We don't
About
even-
damn time, you moon humping jackass.
probably. I can.
Soon.
Guys, stop. We already need to cut like 5 minutes. Guys,
I think we're fine. I don't think we're that bad yet. I mean,
Yeah,
I
people.
will provide.
We don't
Use their
want to happen.
imagination.
We don't want you guys to go to the moon in a faulty rocket. Y'all might not make it there.
all right. Anyways,
I'm going to offer up some food for thought here to you guys. Keep in mind that Descent has expressed in the past that he does not like Captain PL one bit.
This is gonna be chaos.
Oh,
So yeah, there's that. And there's also been explained in the past that Captain PL, or at least Captain PL and the Lunar Guard, never really was okay with the fact that Luna decided to use the Renegades and trust them over the Thestrals.
oh boy.
Yeah, there's gonna be war.
Yeah,
There's gonna
So-
big ass boss fight.
be a whole new level of fighting amongst themselves.
All right. So one final thing.
Yeah,
Because
They're getting-
I'm fading fast here.
Oh my, I need to go to bed.
Yeah. Okay. So one final thing. What we don't want to happen.
Luna or Silver dying off screen.
I don't want
Yeah.
them to
She-
die.
I don't-
want them to die.
I don't think she'll die. She's a. Well, I mean.
Better not. I'll strangle Calm.
You kill either one of them, and he's going to be haunted in his dreams by me.
I can see it now in a headline.
not in the fun way.
Local
You're in
Milwaukee
Texas,
man
you're in
strangled
Milwaukee.
by a
You
16-year-old
need
girl.
to see me when I'm evil, cowgirl. I swear, I would bite someone.
Midget seen running from Jefferson Block building.
underestimates the Cowgirl's
Okay.
ability to hunt one's dreams.
Cowgirl, I'm going to choke you.
My precious.
Okay, moving on.
Bad girl, no biscuit.
I don't like biscuits.
Moving on.
How about
like them
English?
for the sake of the
Moving
joke.
on.
Come on, guys, we're almost done. Keep it together.
Honestly, at this point, what we don't want to happen is stuff that's not likely to happen. I mean, we don't want the Wonderbolts to be completely wiped out. That's not likely to happen.
It's not tragic. Well, if
Yeah,
Calm
still
wants to
be-
take the
still
easy
be
way
the-
out of getting
Right.
writing the rest of this book, he could technically wipe out the Wonderbolts
But he
by making.
wouldn't.
He's not. He's enjoying this too much.
He's smarter
Oh,
than
yeah.
you.
Okay, what did you say, Com? Com said something.
I said there's no way that I would wipe out the Wonderbolts because Sylvian is not writing the story.
Wow. I wonder if years down the road.
Wrong, Calm. You are not wrong. As somebody who personally sees him working on a daily basis, you are not wrong.
That's why I do not.
All right.
Because I've already.
What were you saying, Jim?
Well, here's the thing. It's basically going to come down to the fact that we honestly don't know what we don't want, because at this point everything is kind of uncertain. We're
All
in sort of a
For the most
we're sort of like between shots of an automatic rifle. The bolt hasn't fully cycled back yet, so we haven't hit that flash point yet. So we don't know what we don't want, because
Yeah.
there's still so much more to come.
Yeah, we don't
Is
have
that
enough.
right?
Oh, the ride never ends.
I wouldn't be surprised if part 3 doesn't end till like chapter 150 now or something.
Oh.
And then we have part 4. Thing is, I don't know if part 4 is going to be anywhere near as long as part 3. Part 3 was another judgmental error in terms of length on my part.
Oh god.
But part 4 is definitely going to be interesting, and it's going to be a heck of a lot different than the other parts.
Forgive me if I'm a little bit
Okay,
skeptical,
let me
Call.
just-
I said different. I
Part
wasn't talking
1
about
was
length. I was
different
talking
than
about
the other books. Part 2 is different than Part 1. Part 3 has been different than all of the previous. Calm? It just
Yeah.
gave us an oxymoron.
Not nice to call
It
me.
Call.
One thing I would like to see going forward is all these
Cowgirl.
characters replaced, because we got. Okay.
Jim's wanted to say something.
Forgive me if I'm a little bit skeptical as far as you saying, "Oh, part 4 is not going to be nearly as long as part 3."
I said I'm not sure if it's going to be as long because part 3 has been about 3 times longer than I thought it would be.
And part 2 was much longer than you thought it was going to be.
Well, no, here's the thing. Part 1, the reason part 1 was longer than it was supposed to be was because I thought the whole story was going to be 200,000 words.
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Part 2 ended up being just about as long as I thought it would be, in all honesty. But part 3 has been more than both of those combined.
Has been glorious, darling.
Oh,
Or-
please don't say darling.
Darling,
Oh
please.
God, kill me now.
Darling.
Okay, before we all go off on another tangent,
Before
have
we
we
all just go insane.
have we all said our piece on the?
Well, I haven't had my pizza yet.
Stop making me hungry.
Shush! No pizza for you.
No
Everyone
soup
look
for
at
you.
the chat.
Tom.
Yes.
Tom.
So,
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm
I'm to
going
remember
to
form.
beat you.
All right.
We need to link some of these pictures in the description so the listeners know what we're talking about.
I'll probably edit.
Yeah.
I'll probably edit those in. Maybe. Probably. I don't know.
You're gonna
Yeah,
need
you
to.
just see dog.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna edit all of this out because that is just gonna take up way too much time.
Too much time.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I think we're not talking about anything too crazy, so I think most 99% people will be fine. But anyways, if we're all done with we have all said what we want to say. This has been the sixth episode. Oh, okay, sixth episode
Six.
of the Wondercast.
How
I
fitting.
wanted to
That's
thank
chaotic.
everybody for coming. And our special guest.
Oh,
You guys are gonna
George
ruin
Takei.
you guys are gonna ruin the George Takei meme for me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
oh, don't worry.
and-
You'll find other me.
Oh god. And
In the mirror universe, I'm straight.
and here in an official capacity, the man himself, Calm Wind.
Hello.
So-
Goodbye.
So this has been the sixth episode of the Wondercast. Goodbye and good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
See ya.
I'll take your praise.